10 to 20 million immigrants that are responsible for the driving up the housing costs? Is that what you said?
Let me clarify your confusion, because
I'm not confused, sir. Don't be demeaning to me, all right? Because I'm going to object and ask the chairman to make you answer a question.
Anyway, if you think that somehow the laws of supply and demand do not apply to housing, I would say you're incorrect.
How much we're spending on ICE every single day.
Representative, this is the Financial Stability Oversight Commission.
But you're the treasurer. You're the treasurer. You're supposed to follow the money.
President Trump has secured the border. He was elected
then let him stay at the border.
On a mandate.
I disagree with you, and I think you're
You disagree that he was
confused.
elected?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Mr. Secretary, earlier in response to someone else's question, you talked a little bit there toward the end, but I'm not sure that there was a time for follow-up about, I think you said 10 to 20 million immigrants that are responsible for the driving up the housing costs. Is that what you said?
I'm referring to a Wharton report, yes.
Do you know what they based it on, what data, what information they looked at?
Yes, the survey by survey, community by community. You could go, if you'd like, I will have my people post it on the Treasury X account as we speak.
Well, thanks for the cooperation, because I'm just completely baffled. The average new home sale is about $500,000, and you're saying that it's driving up the housing crisis when DHS is over there trying to pick up and deport people because, quote unquote, they're a drain on society, they're dependent on public benefits. So if you're on public benefits, how do you afford a $500,000 house?
Well, let me clarify your confusion, because
I'm not confused, sir. Don't be demeaning to me, all right? Because I'm going to object and ask the chairman to make you answer questions.
Anyway, I'm trying to explain to you that it is rental income and rental properties. The
So
value.
do you really think that people have you
value,
been to the rental places of immigrants? I have people in my district that are in rental houses that I wouldn't rent to anybody. They're not expensive. They're probably $500 or $600 a month. You think people that can barely afford housing like that's the housing that we're talking about when we talk about the housing crisis?
D properties push up the price of C properties. Inflation in C properties pushes up the price of A properties. Inflation in the price of A property, B properties pushes up A properties. So it moves up the stack. And if you think that somehow the laws of supply and demand do not apply to housing, I would say you're incorrect.
No, well, I'm not incorrect, because
the
only thing that we might say about immigrants is that we don't have new housing because they can't. There's a shortage of labor supply because they build the houses, and you all are more focused on deporting them than having them stay here and build. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to introduce three items to the record. Construction workforce shortages are leading cause of project delays as immigrant enforcement affects nearly 1/3 of firms. Second, how the ICE crackdown has impacted Minnesota's economy. And third, the price of cruelty, how Trump's mass deportation agenda endangers all.
Without objection, that'll be put in the record.
Thank you. Do you have any idea how much we're spending on ICE every single day for enforcement?
Again, Representative, this is the Financial Stability Oversight Commission.
But you're the treasurer. You're the treasurer. You're supposed to follow the money. In response to questions on this side, you're always talking about, well, we follow the money. Well, have you followed the money? How much are they spending every single day in Minnesota and other states where they occupy cities, terrorize communities, and try to break up our country?
Again, President Trump has secured the border. He was elected on a mandate.
Well, I disagree with you, and I think
you disagree that he was elected?
I think you're confused, but let me ask you about something else.
Okay.
Maybe you'll answer this one. You also recently announced the formation of FSOC Household Resilience Working Group that will focus on American households' financial condition. American households across the country, especially in my district, which is a working class district, Texas 29, have experienced firsthand the destabilizing effects of climate disasters. Property insurance or insurance companies are leaving Texas, California, Florida, and many other states because of growing climate risks. I myself have felt the impact. My constituents feel, Mr. Secretary, what, if anything, are y'all doing to address the risk to households of mortgages, and other forms of credit becoming unavailable in certain regions of the country due to climate change.
Again, Congresswoman, are you familiar with KLW 24?
No.
It was the base for everything that was done with climate and with all the proposed climate legislation, and it has been discredited. So everything that FSOC previously did, based on climate,
Who discredited
has
it?
been discredited.
Who discredited it?
Nature magazine has retracted the economic commitment of climate change more than 18 months after first learning that the paper was fatally flawed, with authors acknowledging that its errors are too substantial for a correction.
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with Nature magazine. We're relying on the Nature magazine to determine public policy?
Unfortunately, that's what
Gentlewoman's time has expired,
and
and I invite the Secretary to respond
Yes,
more.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like a response in writing. Thank you.
Yes, Gentlewoman, we'll have those answers to you in writing. The gentleman from Wisconsin, Mr. Fitzgerald, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Mr. Secretary, thanks for being here today. Appreciate all the work that you've done, and certainly look forward to working with you in the future. I did have just a couple questions, though. In many ways, the CSEs are far less risky than they were before the financial crisis, and one of the reasons has been that the CSEs, that credit risk transfer, the CRT piece, those programs. However, some industry experts are concerned that the CRT program have been significantly diminished and focus on capital arbitrage instead of the real risk reduction. Can you just kind of in general discuss the importance of the CRT with regard to the CSE in ensuring that they're transferring a significant amount of credit risk to the private market and really are then avoiding the risk that the taxpayers take on?
Good. So the CRT, or the credit risk transfer, is very important at FSOC and the attendant agencies, the members. We closely monitor to make sure that there is no daisy chain effect, that the quality of the risk transfer is at least as high as the entity from which it was bought. What we saw in the GFC was a complexity can create a daisy chain. So what we want is transparency. But I think CRTs are very important, but they cannot be opaque.
Very good. You called for, you originally called for kind of a fundamental reset of financial regulation, and then you emphasized kind of Treasury's active role in promoting just more efficient, effective, and appropriately tailored regulation. While we've seen progress in tailoring the supervision, can you just tell us kind of overall how you've tried to move the entire department kind of in that direction?
Again, as FSOC, I have convening power, and so that would be, what you were describing would be done by the Federal Reserve regulation, the regulatory body. Vice Chair Mickey Bowman has done an excellent job, the Controller of the Currency and the FDIC. We have tried to get them aligned in what they are doing and for tailoring, and to understand that the reason 50% of small and community banks have disappeared over the past 15 years has been because of a one-size-fits-all regulatory strategy, which clearly it does not.